Okay.
In late April 2016, we were asked to participate at the Ontario Annual Heritage Conference in Stratford as part of a panel on the reuse and revitalization of former railway buildings. I was asked to tell the Smiths Falls story. So here goes. The conversion of the Smiths Falls CP station to the Station Theatre by Tom Foulkes. I'm from Smiths Falls and proud of it. How many of you have been there? Not many. Smiths Falls is located between Ottawa and Kingston at the heart of the Rideau Canal and River. The system is Ontario's only World Heritage Site. If one takes a direct line between Montreal and Toronto, it passes through Smiths Falls. Hence, Smiths Falls became the rail center in the age of steam. 90 plus years ago, we had 68 passenger trains daily at the CP and CN stations and the Frost & Woods farm equipment manufacturer. Between them, they employed about 2,500 people. The population was 10,000 and the town was thriving. But like Stratford, Smiths Falls has endured the ebbs and flows of economic crisis. Frost & Woods was sold and ultimately closed. Diesel took care of the railways. In the early 1950s, along came the Ontario Hospital, Rideau Regional, RCA Victor, and Hershey's Chocolate. These were good times, but each of the above closed. Hershey's, Rideau Regional, and Stanley Tools closed in the last decade. Now we have Tweed, or Canopy Growth, a major medical marijuana producer that is expanding. The CN station was purchased for $1 by a group of ex-employees and others. They have created the Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario that continues to evolve with municipal support and fundraising. CP has a yard and a yard office. As a community of 9,000 people, located less than an hour from Ottawa, we have become in part a retirement community, a place to come when big city life overwhelms. Smiths Falls has a new water treatment facility, a fairly new sewage treatment facility, a new memorial community center where a tremendously successful Ontario curling tankard took place, a new seniors building, and the theatre. Our library, which Carnegie called the world's most handsome small library, was restored in recent years. Another positive for Smiths Falls is Brooke Henderson, now one of the world's top-ranking golfers. The Station Theatre has hosted heritage symposiums, Stuart McLean, Sean McCann, musical groups, movies, Film Night International, and corporate gatherings. Patrons come from across the county and valley, including Ottawa. It is unique, beautiful, and has impressed all that have been in it. We are not the Stratford Theatre. We are amateurs who deliver comedies, farces, mysteries, and dramas in a very enjoyable manner. Now, how we got here. CPR built the station in 1877. It was effectively closed in 1996. In the ensuing years, a waiting room was provided. It has served as regional headquarters for CP with offices, sleeping facilities, and a restaurant. There was a roundhouse and a boiler that provided steam heat to the building, pipelines, and water to the locomotives. There was an ice house and a piggy backyard as well. As late as 1961, there were still two huge steam locomotives in the yard as backup. In 1997, CP and VIA applied for a demolition permit to tear down the building. There was no word as to their plans, so the mayor refused the permit. There were rumors of a 20 by 20 fiberglass structure or telephone booth with no facilities, but this was never confirmed. CP applied for a demolition permit in 1998 and 1999 with the same result. Meanwhile, the Smiths Falls Community Theatre was formed on March 31st, 1999 to bring live theatre to Smiths Falls. The idea of converting the CP station to a theatre quickly became a dream and then a goal. CP sold the station to the town of Smiths Falls for $1 and contributed $50,000 towards its retrofit, as did VIA. The official turnover was December 7th, 1999. It was further agreed that a waiting room would be provided for VIA and that the town and theatre group would maintain it. At that time, there were 8 trains daily. Subsequently, in 2010-11, the 20 by 20 structure with facilities appeared at the edge of town, and the waiting room became part of our lobby area. Town Council has never, over the past 17 years, made a direct donation to the Station Theatre. However, they own the building, and major structural repairs were required before the theatre could be constructed. The town provided $135,000. Their major contributions to the theatre have been indirect, in terms of moral support, not pressing for payments, flexible agreements, and paying the heating, insurance, and utility bills until 2013. In addition, they provided assistance in grant applications. Upon receiving that first $100,000, the theatre board had to assess the building and engage professional services and undertake various studies. Structural work was undertaken, but expenses were very high. Pat Smith, an engineer technologist who had retired, agreed to assume on a volunteer basis the treasurer's role and to be the project manager. He spent 10 to 11 years on the job from design through to construction. He retired in 2011. In 2001, we decided to raise the theatre's profile by attacking the exterior windows, scrape paint repair, and building billboards to advertise the theatre. This evolved over the next years with several work parties, including the service clubs and both exterior and interior cleanup. Meanwhile, the theatre was staging productions at local schools, building skills, and clientele. Our written 10-year agreement with the town assumed VIA would operate there for the foreseeable future, that the town would assist the theatre, and that ultimately the theatre would take over the building, but in the meantime would pay an annual rent. Funding quickly became an issue. The 6 months of renovations were going to take years. We were successful in obtaining 3 Trillium grants with the support of the mayor and a councillor. Mr. Smith had a policy whereby when the money runs out, work is stopped until you raise more. As a result, debt has never been an issue, but it took 10 years to become operational. Additional fundraising included gala dinners, bus trips to productions in Toronto and elsewhere, silent auctions, revenue from productions, seat sales — by the way, the seats were donated by the National Arts Centre — and donations large and small from many people. When we opened in April 2010, the auditorium or performance center, stage and lobby were complete. The equipment for productions was donated. This included sound, electrical, and curtains. From 2011 forward, volunteers finalized the green room with ceiling, walls, and washrooms, converted the space above the auditorium into costume storage and workshop, and cleaned up and dried out the basement where we now store stage properties and other materials. As well, a workshop for carpentry equipment was built in that area. With the assistance of the town, sump pump and drains were installed. In addition, a cloakroom was built and the kitchen was finished. The town has ensured that exterior masonry work and roof repairs, including vents, have taken place along with HVAC requirements. We are in the final stages of completing the building. We had a startup board until 2010 and 11. 3 members have continued in an active role with our operating board. We are very fortunate and still have in part some highly skilled volunteers with design and construction experience in various elements, including electrical, plumbing, and carpentry. In 2014, the town replaced the 80 windows in the building that reduced noise, heating costs, and maintenance. A donation to the town of $30,000 covered the cost of installation. We did the research and discussed with the Community Services Department of the town, following which we selected a contractor who did the work and built the town. I cite this story as an example of how we have done business over the last 5 to 6 years. When one parks the eagles, establishes common goals, we all share in the glory or whatever. Our goal was to establish a first-class venue as a home to fine theater and entertainment and a facility the whole community could take pride in. As a nonprofit group, the theater will never be able to own the building. The theater is responsible for all operating costs, plus repairs, maintenance, and replacement of their assets. The town is responsible for the exterior of the building, snow removal, grass cutting, HVAC, and general public washrooms. The building manager and the town director will consult and plan together work to be carried out on an annual basis. Town council approved the agreement in 2014. The theater pays insurance, rent, and the greater part of the utilities. We have given the town $10,000 in each of the past 2 years to accomplish that, and will increase that amount as able. In summary, as this was a railway town, there has been solid community support and pride in what has been done. Our options were limited because of funding and the state of the building. We used engineers and architects in our design, planning, and implementation. A specific challenge was the fact that the rail track was 30 feet away from the wall of the auditorium. We have heavily insulated that wall, and in conjunction with the window replacement, have greatly reduced the noise. The building was a mess with pigeon droppings everywhere. It was also structurally much worse than originally thought. The tunnel for steam into the building presented moisture challenges that we have hopefully solved. Senior CP management has been totally supportive and has indicated that we have preserved the heritage of CP in Smiths Falls. An eyesore has been turned into a jewel. People have memories of previous generations and where their grandfather and fathers worked in the building, so there's a definite linkage between the past and present. There's ongoing support and interest from our patrons. As an example, at a recent edition, new people showed up and had the typical response of, "Wow, it is amazing. We did not expect this. We remember the dilapidated building."